and welcome back for day 8 of our 12 days of Crochet Mischief. Let's get straight into it. The clue for today was that millions of people have watched this particular creature haul off with a slice of pizza. So, let's see who we're making. And it is, of course, a little rat. And I've gone specifically for a little chocolate dipped rat just because they always seem that little bit more mischievous than the ones that are all brown or all white. And frankly, if I show you how to make the two-toned rat, you guys have the option of making it all in one colour yourselves anyway. So we're making a little rat today, and the clue is of course in reference to Pizza Rat, which is a video that you can find still here on the internet that literally I think it was like 22 million people had seen or something like that. Like, it's ridiculous. So yeah, millions of people invested in this rat and his slice of pizza. And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video for a clue as to who we are making on day 9. Okay, let's talk tools and materials. To make your little ratty today, you're going to need 8-ply 100% acrylic yarn in 3 colours. So you're going to need some white, some brown, and some pink. You're also going to need a pair of 9mm safety eyes, your 3.5mm hook, scissors, and some stuffing, as well as a needle with a small amount of your pink yarn to add the nose on at the end. And I do recommend having a stitch marker or bobby pin handy, just because it'll help you keep track of the end of your rows. Where are you going to sit to watch? There? Do you want the strawberry? Strawberry's been keeping a few of you company now. Okay, so in our brown, we're going to start with a magic ring of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Row 2 is then a single crochet, 2 increases, so that's 1, that's 2, and then a single crochet, bringing your round up to 6 stitches. Then row 3 is 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, 2 increases, 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochet back to the start of our round, leaving you with 8 stitches. Row 4 is a single crochet, an increase, 4 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4, another increase, and then a single crochet to bring us back to the start of our round, leaving us with 10 stitches. And row 5 is just 10 single crochet around. 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. That's the little head. All right, so that should all be pretty easy so far. In row 6, we're going to knock things up a notch. So we're going to build the ears in this row. We're going to start by working 2 increases. So that's 1. And that's 2. And then a single crochet. So in the next stitch, we're going to build the first little ear. So working all in the same stitch, we're going to work a brown single crochet, changing to our pink. And that's the first color change for this pattern. So let's just step through that together. So to work a color change, all you do is insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop of your old color, hold that color out of the way, grab a strand of the color you'd like to change to, in this case pink, pinch that at the base of the stitch on the inside of the work, and yarn over and pull it through both of your loops. And just tug on your brown to scooch the stitch down into position. And that should leave you with a finished single crochet in your old color, but the new color on your hook ready to go. I'm just going to tie these 2 little tails together at the back just to help lock it in place, though we're not trimming off any colors here. And you can work color changes for pretty much any stitch. All you do is work the final yarn over and pull through in the color you're changing to. There we go. Okay, so with our pink, we are going to chain 2. We're going to turn, and then in the second chain from our hook, we're going to work an increase, changing back to our brown in the second stitch of it. So that's 1, and 2. And that color change has worked the exact same way as we worked the first one. Well, it's just that we're working pink to brown instead of brown to pink. We're then going to work a single crochet back into the same stitch of the head that we started in. So all happening in that one stitch, we have a brown single crochet, a little pink nub of an ear, and then a second brown single crochet. Continuing to work around the head, it's 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and we're going to build the second little ear in this stitch. So it's 1 brown single crochet, changing to our pink, chain 2, 1, 2, into the chain, work an increase, changing back to our brown, and then a second single crochet into that same stitch. And there is our second little ear. I'm personally just going to leave the pink attached just because we're going to need it for the feet in a little bit, but you could absolutely trim this off at this point and reattach it later. That would work just fine. To finish this row, we just have a single crochet and then 2 increases. 1 and 2. So in that row, you've worked 20 stitches, but only 16 of them have contributed to the round, which should all be in brown at this point. So in row 7, we're going to start by working 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then we're going to be working a single crochet 3 together. And if you've been playing along with this series, you already know what I'm about to say, but say it with me, okay? There are 2 ways to work a single crochet 3 together. It is a decrease worked over 3 stitches instead of just over 2. So there is a standard way to do it, where you insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and repeat that for all 3 stitches that you're decreasing over, which leaves you with 4 loops on your hook, and then you can just yarn over and pull through all 4. That is a perfectly acceptable way to work a single crochet 3 together. I have a soft spot for the invisible method, where you just pick up the front loops of the 3 stitches you're decreasing over. You yarn over and you pull up a loop through all 3 of those loops, leaving you with just 2 on your hook, and you yarn over and pull through both of those. It sits a little flatter, but it's a little bit more fiddly, and you are welcome to swap between them depending on the difficulty of where you're trying to place one. I default to the invisible method, but I'll let you know if I'm using standard ones instead in certain key locations. And with that done, we're going to be working a decrease, skipping the ear. But you'll note that we only have 1 brown stitch before the little pink nub. That is the first stitch of our decrease. And the second stitch of our decrease is this one here on the far side of the ear. Actually, you know what? You know what the easiest way to do this is? Insert your hook into the second stitch on the far side of the ear, making sure your yarn is running behind it. Yarn over and pull up a second loop, and then just tuck the ear forward. At that point, yarn over and complete your decrease. Behind the little ear, which should be poking outwards, all perky and listening. Then it's 2 single crochet across the head, 1 and 2. And we're going to work a decrease behind the second ear. So that's the first stitch of it and second stitch of it, tuck that ear to the front, finish the decrease behind it. So now he can hear what we say about him, so make sure you only say nice things, so I can't imagine why you wouldn't be saying nice things. Then it's just a single crochet 3 together, and 2 single crochet back to the start of our round. There we are at the end of row 7. So for these ears, I personally like to give them just a little tug outwards, but they should sit pretty nicely on their own. So there we are at the end of row 7, and now we are just going to stop and pop our eyes in. Squeak, squeak. So you don't have to use safety eyes for this pattern, I just think that that brings a lot of life to him. So that's the difference between putting the eyes into row 3 versus row 4. I think row 3 is looking a little mousy, and row 4 is looking a little bit more ratty. I'm going to be positioning my eyes into row 4, so counting backwards from the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I want 2 stitches visible between them. And just move them around a little bit until you find his wee little soul. When you're happy, snap the backs on. And this is just a gentle reminder that a pair of wire cutters can work to shorten the backs of a pair of safety eyes. Let's see if I can get you some clicky sounds. You ready for this? Ooh! Okay, that was less exciting, but still, we got one real good one. There we go. Love it or hate it, those are locked in now. And we're going to carry on into row 8, where we're going to start building up the little front legs. So row 8 starts with a single crochet, and then 5 single crochet all into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is where your first little leg is going to start. Okay, so it's not going to sit directly under the chin, but it is going to start there. Then we're then going to work 3 single crochet all into the next stitch around. So 1, 2, 3, and that is going to make him sort of look a little bit wibbly and wobbly. It's going to be okay. Then it's 2 decreases across the back of the head. 1, 2. Bringing us to the other side where we're working 3 single crochet into the same stitch. And then 5 single crochet into the same stitch, which is the next stitch around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, leaving you with just 1 stitch in your round, and work a single crochet into it. There we go. So you should be up to 20 stitches in your round at this point. We have 2 little ears, we have 2 little eyes, and we have 2 little leg nubs, which should be approximately on either side of the head. In row 9, we're going to be forming feet. So we start with 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then all into the same stitch. We're going to work a single crochet, changing to our pink. And then very similar to how we built the ears, we are going to chain 2. And then work a single crochet into the chain, changing back to our brown. One fiendish little grabber coming straight up. We're then going to work a second brown stitch into that same stitch. There we go. So all into that stitch, we've worked a brown stitch, a little pink nub, and then a second brown stitch. We're then going to work 5 single crochet up the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then a decrease at the back of the head. And 5 single crochet down the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, bringing us to where we want to form our second little foot. So all into the same stitch, work a single crochet, changing to your pink, chain 2, a pink single crochet into the chain, changing back to your brown. I went a little mega Australian just then. And then a second brown single crochet into the same stitch. There we go. So all into the same stitch, we have 1 brown single crochet, a little pink nub, and then a second brown single crochet. It is then just 3 single crochet back to the start of your round, and we're going to change to our white in the 3rd stitch. You can, of course, choose to change to your white whenever you please. This is just where I'm choosing to dip my particular rat. And we are done with our brown now, so you can trim that off. Just allows you to be a little less tangled up. Such a little Neapolitan ice cream. Okay, so row 10 is 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to work a decrease, skipping the foot. So that's the same way as we worked the decreases on the ears. So 1 stitch before the foot, making sure my yarn runs behind it. 1 stitch after the foot, tuck the foot to the front, and finish the stitch behind it. You can work those decreases however you're comfortable. I'm just showing you the way I think is easiest. The main goal is just that your stitch is going to sit behind the foot. It's then 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Then 2 repeats of an increase. And then 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, and we're going to do that again. Increase. And 3 single crochet. 1, 2, 3. That should bring you around to just 1 brown stitch between where you are and the little foot, and we're going to decrease behind the second little foot. Stitch 1, stitch 2, poke the foot to the front, finish off the decrease. Then it's just 3 single crochet back to the start of our round. 1, 2, and 3. So that is my current alignment. The legs will come down a little bit. My head is a little twisty. We're working in a spiral. Everything's gonna always just be a little twisty. Row 11 is worked entirely in our white, which is a little bit of a relief. So we're going to work 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet 3 togethers. So that is 1, and this is 2. Then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. 2 repeats of an increase, and then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. So that's 1, and we're doing it again. Increase, and then 1 and 2. Then it's 2 more single crochet 3 togethers. 1 and 2. That should leave you at the start of your round. Here is what my tiny rat looks like. That's with me having poked that in. It also looks like that. Row 12 starts with a single crochet, then a decrease, 9 single crochet around, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. Another decrease, and then a single crochet back to the start of our round. And at this point we should have just 13 stitches. And row 3 is 2 repeats of a single crochet, an increase, and then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. So that's 1 single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet, and that's 2. It's then an increase, 3 single crochet down the side, 1, 2, 3, and an increase to finish the round. It should bring us up to 17. There's a lot of odd numbers in these patterns. The minis always seem to be a little bit like that. Okay, in row 14, we're going to be positioning the back legs. So we're going to start by working 3 single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. So note that in terms of alignment, that brings the next stitch to just on the outside of the front leg that would otherwise be in front of it. And we're going to work 5 single crochet all into that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If this first leg for you is falling further under the belly, work a couple of additional single crochets until it's a little bit closer to the position I'm showing you on camera now. If your first leg is appearing somewhere up here, you can frog back. I would caution you not to frog back more than about 3 stitches, but you have those 3 single crochet at the start of this row to play with. If you have to frog more than that to line this leg up, something has gone terribly wrong with your rat. Please contact the Discord. Frankly, contact the Discord and we'll try and sort you out. With that done, we're going to work 12 single crochet around the back. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, and 12. And this next stitch is going to fall almost directly behind the front foot. So this one here is off to one side, and this one here is directly behind. That's just because my stitches pull to the right a little bit, and so this is going to allow for this leg not to end up its side, while this leg is going to still be roughly behind where it's supposed to be. A little bit of method to the madness there. And if you've corrected the position of your first leg, you should be fine just to complete the rest of the row as written and carry on as per usual from there. They should be lined up as long as you've corrected the positioning of your first leg. That piece of information won't impact most of you. And we're going to work 5 single crochet into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there we go. That's where his two little back legs are going to be. In row 15, we're going to build the little feet themselves. So we're starting with 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then all into the same stitch. They're the same feet as the front feet. We're going to work 1 white single crochet, changing to our pink, chaining 2. Then into that chain with our pink, we're going to work a single crochet, changing back to our white. And then a second single crochet into our starting stitch. And then a second single crochet into the same stitch. So all into one stitch of the body, we've worked a white single crochet, a little pink nub, and then a second white single crochet. It's then 16 single crochet around to the other side. 2, 3, 14, 15, and 16. Then we're going to work our second little foot. So 1 white single crochet, changing to our pink, chaining 2, into the chain, work a single crochet, changing back to our white, and then work a second single crochet into the same stitch. There we go. So for the final time for this pattern, all into the same stitch, we've worked a white single crochet, a little pink nub, and a second white single crochet. It is then 2 single crochet back to the start of our round. 1 and 2. So we have his little back feet. Row 16 starts with 5 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I can't stop laughing because he looks like he's wearing enormous pants right now. Then we're going to decrease, skipping the foot. So 1 stitch on one side, run the yarn behind the foot, and then 1 stitch on the other side, tuck the foot to the front, and complete the decrease behind it. 4 single crochet up the side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A decrease. 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then another decrease. 4 more single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there should just be 1 white single crochet between you and the foot, and we're going to work another decrease, skipping the foot. So there are my 2 stitches, tuck the foot to the front, and complete the decrease. And it's 2 single crochet back to the start of our round. 1 and 2. So that should leave you with 23 stitches around in total. And we are just closing off the back now and heading into the tail. So row 17 starts with 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then a single crochet 3 together. 2 decreases. 1 and 2. 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2 decreases. 1 and 2. Another single crochet 3 together. And a single crochet to get us back to the start of our round. And that should leave you with 15 stitches in total. And at this point, we're going to stop and stuff our rat. So I want you to make sure that your stuffing is getting all the way to his tiny wee brain. This is important. Other than that, just stuff the body as much as makes you happy. I would encourage you not to overstuff the neck area. But yeah, other than that, follow your bliss. Perfect. So row 18 starts with a single crochet 3 together, then a decrease, another single crochet 3 together, 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, a single crochet, 3 together, and a decrease to finish your round. And that should leave you with just 7 stitches, which is almost time for the tail. Row 19 starts with a single crochet and then a decrease, changing to our pink. In our pink, we're then just going to work 2 decreases. 1 and 2. Now that is going to bring your round down to 4 stitches, which is the width of the tail. If you find 4 stitches around to be too small of a tube, you can change that last decrease for 2 single crochet, which will leave you with a tube of 5, which doesn't sound that much bigger, but will be easier to work if you have a lot of trouble in tight little spaces. The idea here isn't to torture yourself, it is to make a little rat. There we go. So with the foundation for our tail in place, we are going to work 8 rows of 4 single crochet around for a combined total of 32 stitches. And there we go. Finish off. So we have a little opening at the end of our tail. We're just going to use our remaining yarn and pull it through the front loops only of those 4 remaining stitches. 2, 3, and 4. And pull it tight to close like a drawstring bag. And just tuck it down away inside the tail, making sure that you don't like distort the tip of it. There we go. So that is the end of the crochet portion of our little rat. And then I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of pink and I'm just going to stitch over the very tip of the nose here using the magic ring as a guide to add a tiny wee schnoz, a little sniffer, if you will. Yes, I talk like this, but I've decided I'm fine with it. 3. There is your finished rat. His feet require a little wrangling. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they don't. But he is pretty dang cute. Whee! Oh, what a great little moving company. Okay, that was delightful. Okay, so there is day 8 done. I hope you had fun making it with me today. And I know why you're still here. You are wanting a clue as to who we are making tomorrow. So, your clue for day 9 is they can get away with anything because you'll never find them. So, day 9's pattern is going to take you about 30 minutes to make, and I actually recommend like a multicolored variegated yarn for tomorrow, but I'm personally going to be using green on camera just to like make sure that you guys can see the stitches that I'm working. But really any color is going to work for you. All right, so if you think you know what we're making, leave your guesses in the comment section down below and I will let you know tomorrow in a pinned comment how many of you guessed correctly. And I think tomorrow's pattern is my favorite of the 12, but you're gonna have to wait until tomorrow to see it. So I hope to see you there. Okay, bye.